You boys know what's about to happen to you. You leave now.
Some consider these traits to be toxic, such as undesirable in the men of today. We consider these traits such as these not only to be desirable, but to be appreciated and celebrated. Welcome to the Toxic Male Appreciation Show, hosted by and La Reina Creole. Welcome to the safe space for the toxic male.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to my channel. Well, my Twitch channel. I'm Reina Creole, and of course, my co-host, who's here with me. How are you doing, my dear?
I'm doing very well, Lorena. How are you today?
I'm doing good, even better once. There we go. Okay. The past couple ones, people have been like, who's I know who you are, but who's that on the other side? I'm like, oh shoot, I forgot to think on. Anyway, yes, doing good, adjusting to the now constant 90-degree heat during the day here, and the lovely humidity, which there's all kinds of stuff with, as you know, with the hair. But yeah, I know it's just like I don't want to go out there. I don't want to cut it. It's like my hair looked really nice. It'll look like this. I'm like, oh, it's great. And then I go out there and I'm live streaming the parks, and then I look at myself in the video camera. I'm like, holy crap, my hair it's like it's alive. And just like, no, we're not gonna behave today, which is perfect if I'm walking around for Halloween, but not. But yeah, things are good. Things are good. The Orville started today, dropping episodes. Oh my God. Have you seen it yet?
No, I heard it was fantastic.
Oh my God. I could not. I watched the first episode. I think the second episode drops tonight. I think that's what it said on Hulu. The first episode, I'm just like, I can't. I'm like, I cannot believe that they went there, but it's amazing. I can't wait to finish watching the rest of it. Cannot wait. But folks, I know what you're here for, because we're talking toxic males, of course. And this is the promised stream that we are doing regarding Chris Pratt. Yes, I'm so well, you guys got like a little taste of that from last week's show, I believe, when we were doing the news update of what's going on with Chris Pratt. So we're back here in more detail and more admiration about this particular actor who is so hot right now. I know I had to drop that in there. He's so hot right now. So hot.
Mm-hmm.
So hot right now. But we are, of course, so glad you guys are out there on Twitch watching us. Sure as heck do appreciate that. So for folks who've been living under a rock, this is Chris Pratt. So I'm going to ask this question. I'll ask her first before I answer. What was the first thing that you saw Chris Pratt in?
Well, I've seen him in some small roles throughout the years. And of course, you can't escape the fact that he's sort of the main character, the glue that holds everything together with Guardians of the Galaxy.
Mm-hmm.
But there's a film that he did that really grabbed me. And I think we're going to talk about it today. But, once you see him, I mean, he's kind of the perfect guy, isn't he? He's charming. He's fit. He has charisma. He's sexy. there's so many things about Chris Pratt that are amazing, and he just really is just an incredible actor who is perfect for movies, whether they are Hollywood big budget films or streaming films. He seems to bring this certain kind of charm along with the roles he plays, and I just can't get enough of seeing him in films. So the film that I'm talking about is a film called Passengers, Lorena. So that's the one that I do love him in Guardians of the Galaxy, but Passengers really is the one that I kind of fell in love with Chris Pratt for a different reason, and I'm going to talk about that a little bit later. But that's the main one that I've seen him in. I also saw him in one with, I believe, with Anna Faris, who I think is his ex-wife as well. So probably the film with Anna Faris might be the first one that I ever saw him in. What about you, Lorraine? What was the first film or appearance that you remember Chris Pratt from?
You are gonna laugh. You're gonna laugh. You're gonna laugh so hard. The first thing that I actually saw him in, I'll put this in quotes, saw him in, was the Lego movie. I didn't know that was him at the time, but I'm like, why is this character so funny? It's like little brother annoying funny, and it just like it made the movie, because like the Lego movies, they never take themselves seriously, and they're so much fun. Like I love like Lego Batman. I think
Lego Star Wars.
Lego Star Wars. I think Ninjago is my favorite, just because of Jackie Chan is in it. Have you ever seen that one?
No, I haven't.
All I'm gonna say is the ultimate weapon. And when you find out what the ultimate weapon is, it's just like, it's pure. It's so simple, but it's freaking genius how they came up with that. So he just him in the Lego movie, it made it so much fun to watch. I am a master builder, but before he was like the master builder, he was doing all kinds of dorky-ish. I mean, it was hilarious. So just like as a voice actor, just being able to make that particular character come to life. But I didn't know who he was until I saw him in which one was it? Infinity War.
Yes.
When I saw him in Infinity War, and I'm like, this dude is like this guy I went to high school with. As Star-Lord, he was just this like just this dorky Chad looking dude, and it all worked. The guy who thinks he's smarter than he actually really is, and his friends are around to remind him he's not as smart as he thinks he is, and just blended in so well with the cast. I did not watch the first Guardians of the Galaxy movie because people kept talking about it. I'm like, yeah, whatever. It's just passing fad. It's not Iron Man. I don't freaking care. Robert Downey Jr. is not in it. I'm not interested in watching it. That was just at the time. And then saw him in Infinity War, and I'm like, okay, maybe I will go check out the Guardians of the Galaxy movie. So that's where it went from. It went from him being in that movie, then seeing him in a Amazon movie called The Tomorrow War, which we're going to pull up.
Yes.
That I was seriously impressed with him in. So
I saw it too, and I loved it. I loved The Tomorrow War.
Wasn't it great?
It just goes to show you what he's capable of elevating a streaming film. So we definitely do see that with him there.
Absolutely. Well, Kaylee, I see you there hanging out. She says, hey,
Hi.
Hey girl, good to see you. Love it over here. Kaylee's like my mod on Twitch. Eventually I'm gonna get into some gaming eventually on Twitch. I just got my video capture card. So
wow.
yeah, Yeah. So
Let
maybe
me
in the
know.
future, after I get used to the control, I gotta switch. I gotta get used to these darn controller. And then when I do, you guys can all laugh at me playing Mario Kart.
No, let
Trust
me know
me.
if you need an extra person to play Mario Kart, and I'll play.
Ooh,
If you're
okay.
doing something like that,
Yeah.
um, So
I'm getting I'm getting the gaming thing. I'm getting the gaming thing together slowly but surely.
Mhm.
But so we have Christopher Michael Chris Pratt. So born in
Yes.
Virginia and raised in Washington, which I
Yeah.
really think probably is why he kind of is the way that he is. He's not like a total LA guy
No,
that I would say.
no, he's not.
Nah. And let's see. There was this I'm actually gonna go back a little bit. I'm sorry, I make you guys dizzy.
Yeah, no
Like
worries.
Parks and Rec, I had never seen that darn show. I had never seen Parks and Recreation, and so many people had told me about it.
Yeah, it's like The Office. If you like The Office, then you would like Parks and Rec.
See, I do like The Office. I
Mhm.
did. I liked I'm the kind of weird person where I actually liked the British version of The
Yeah,
Office.
I loved that with Martin Freeman.
Yes.
Oh, I love him so much. I love Martin Freeman. I love him so much.
I was like watching that and I'm like, that's hilarious. So I saw a little bit of I saw a little bit of The Office, like the US show. How come my
Right.
pictures aren't coming up here? It's kind of annoying. I saw like a little bit, a couple of episodes of it, enough to get the gist of it. And it was still funny. And it was even funnier because it was set in God, what's it? In Scranton,
Yes.
Pennsylvania, which
Yeah,
is like
yeah.
about 100 miles from where I lived outside of Philly. So that like put people didn't know where Scranton was. I'm like, Scranton? They're like, what's Scranton like? I'm like, it's freaking a hole in the wall, failed steel mill, coal town. It's one of those. So it's
Right.
just the way where they put it. It was just funny.
Well, the Office changed comedy for quite some time. I would say, the sitcom comedy world with
Hmm.
that show, Community, which is another one that reminds me of
I
The
loved
Office
Community.
and Parks and Rec. And there might be one more that's like Parks and Rec, but that formula became pretty popular for a good 10 years. And, a lot of the comedians that were in a lot those particular shows are big time stars now.
Yeah, a lot of them were. I freaking loved Community. Community hooked me from like the first episode on.
Yeah, yeah.
We're gonna go with it. This seems to be what we like to do here. Go through its
Yes,
IMDb page.
yes.
So let's see, what did we do? So yeah, so we talked about wait. He was in Ben 10 Ultimate Alien. Okay. I did watch a couple episodes of Ben 10. Cartoon Network. So I'm like, which one was that one? He was in the OC.
Mhm, mhm.
Really? I knew
I've
of
never
the
watched
OC.
it.
Yeah, I never watched it, but
Okay.
I knew what it was. Strangers with Candy.
I haven't watched that either.
And now I've heard of it, but I had it up, but I hadn't watched it. Let's see. He was in Jennifer's Body.
Yeah, and I think that was a horror film.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but I did not see that. This was before I really knew who he was because I didn't really watch Parks and Rec. This is interesting.
Yeah.
I watched Zero Dark 30
So have I.
and I do not remember him being in this movie. So for people who don't know, Zero Dark 30 was the movie that basically was based on the hunt for bin Laden. and
Right.
capturing Osama bin Laden. And he was extremely elusive to try and catch. And this one intelligence agent actually managed to track him through his courier. So you get to see how she tracks this guy, everything that's involved, which eventually culminates in the mission that you see where they go to capture bin Laden. So it's it's a really good movie. I liked it. I can't believe I didn't know that Chris Pratt was in this darn movie. Was in this movie.
Right. And of course, Jessica Chastain plays the lead agent who is the intelligence officer, I'm guessing.
Yes.
And Kyle
Yes,
Chandler has
she
made a
is.
lot of films like this. Kyle Chandler seems to get a lot of roles in intelligence or police enforcement through his career. That previous shot was Kyle Chandler there,
This
which
Charles
I'm sure
Chandler.
many of you recognize him
Yeah.
there. But
Yeah, I
Jessica
do.
Chastain, of course, just winning her first Academy Award in The Eyes of Tammy Faye Baker.
Did you see that movie?
I have seen it. Have you?
I have. It was so good. Oh my
Yeah.
God. Andrew Garfield was Jimmy Baker.
Yeah, he was. And he was just like Jim Baker. God, he just
Down
like
to the mannerisms and everything.
it's like Tammy.
Tammy, you're just trying to work with me here. You just can't do it. Oh, I'm like, I told somebody, I said, I saw, Andrew Garfield in I'd never watched the Spider-Man movies with him in it because it's just, to me, Spider-Man was always Tobey Maguire.
Right.
So when he showed up in No Way Home, I was actually pretty impressed with him, and then saw him in The Eyes of Tammy Faye. I'm like, oh my gosh, dude, he was great. He was great
Yeah.
in it. So now I'm actually going to eventually go back and watch the Spider-Man movies with him in it. But this is Chris Pratt in 2013.
Nice.
I did. You know what? I watched this movie and I had no idea this was him. I had no idea. I'm trying to see if we can get
a picture of him in the film.
A picture of him actually kitted up. Maybe it's just me, but looks like he was a little bit not like, I don't know if this is like his
was Anna Faris in it as well?
A bit more. I don't remember her. She's at an event for it. So I don't think she was in the movie. I think they were married at the time, right?
Right.
Chris Pratt and
right.
Anna Faris. Okay, so it seems like that's why she was there. But I'm trying to find like a press shot of him. But either way, he was probably just kitted up. I think he was the point guy who actually was the one that capped bin Laden, I believe. I could be wrong. It's been a long time. Excuse me. It's been a long time since I've seen it, but I think he was the one who actually did. I remember Aaron Paul being in it. I do remember that. I remember Rosemary. I love her. I love her. Mila Jovovich. Mario Van. Oh, okay. I was gonna say I do not remember Mario Van Peebles in the movie. I would have remembered if Mario Van Peebles was in it. But yeah, Zero Dark 30, very good military movie. If anything, it will give you a really good appreciation for what intelligence officers do and how special forces is dependent on that particular information. Let's see. Yep, of course. Here's the Lego movie. The Lego movie. I love the Lego movies. Yeah. So that was him, Emmett. which was a lot of fun. It was a fun movie.
Yeah,
Will
he's
Ferrell was
the main cast members.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so he was Emmett Rakowski. Of course, Will Arnett as Batman. That was funny. That was funny. Anthony Daniels, yeah, he was I forgot he was in there as a as C3PO. But yeah, Chris Pratt was in this, a fun like family movie. But this is one of those movies where I want to say one of the things that kind of helped cast him as family friendly, so to speak, like the kind of movies you can sit down with, with your kids or whatever, and just everybody and just enjoy it. And even if you played with Legos back in the day, just to read not only to relive it, but that just like that childish fun of living as like, as like a Lego.
Yeah, they did a very good job in this film, and it certainly does bring the Legos to life. And then, of course, the games. They really, went the full gamut with this, that you could just enjoy it. I mean, I think it's very good that they continue to do more with the Lego movies, and how much fun people are having with them, honestly.
They're a ton. They are an absolute ton of fun. I was more entertained than I wanted to admit, actually, because it was too much. It was too much fun. I'm like, Lego movie, really? What can they do with a darn Lego movie? And like with Toy Story, they just immerse you in being a toy.
Right.
So that's how that works. So then, of course, there's Guardians of the Galaxy.
Yes.
Now, this movie, I didn't, like I said, I did not see it because everyone kept talking about it. And I'm like, well, who the frick are the Guardians of the Galaxy? I don't know who they are in the Marvel comics. And somebody was like, yeah, they're kind of like D-listers. And I'm like, oh, okay, guess that's why I never heard of it. And then I watch Infinity War. And I see these characters where it's like a band of misfits in the galaxy. And it's just like, it's so unlike the other MCU movies. And of course, Chris Pratt, he's the one that really keeps it like together.
Yes.
Just with him as Star-Lord. What did you think when you first saw him as Star-Lord?
I thought he was this. I couldn't figure him out initially, and I wondered whether or not he was kind of like a bit of a scam artist. But then I soon started to realize that that's not what he's about. He's about kind of trying to enjoy life. And, that's all he ever wants. I mean, I think he was looking for a place to belong. And he found himself belonging with this group of very unusual individuals. And, it's just really kind of a fun story of friendship for me, especially for him, and his background where he's kind of lost, excuse me, if you will. Mm-hmm. So that's what I thought.
Yeah. Especially with like trying to belong, especially, with him and his 80s references. And it's just like, people are just like, you're so weird. Like, I love the interaction between him and Gamora. Like, Gamora is my favorite character. And she's just kind of pretty much like, why are you such a dork? But it plays off so well between the two of them.
Well, she's so glamorous and, otherworldly and beautiful. And I think he almost feels like he's not good enough for her. And, she clearly is a woman of the galaxy. It's not that he isn't. It's just that she knows so much more than he does. And so she has this advantage over him of just having a greater general understanding of what's going on. And he doesn't have that. And he knows that. And he is using every bit of energy and power he has to charm her, to, win her over, to, get her on his side. And, it wouldn't even have taken that much effort because he is so irresistible in the film. I think that she, can see how much he is a genuine person and very warm. And I think she likes that, considering what her, let's say her family is like and how tough things are for them. And, how she was raised, and how tough that was for her to have somebody like him who's so carefree and willing to just easily give anything he has to be with her. It's exactly what she is looking for in a way. I think maybe all of us are looking for that.
I would have to agree, because one of the reasons that I liked Gamora as, one of my favorite characters is like I can so identify with her, especially given the type of area that I work in. It's like, I know a lot of stuff. And some people are like, you're so smart. I can't really go talk to her because she's so smart. Like, I'd hear this, random, like, well, why are people scared to talk to me? They're just like, no, they're scared to talk to you because, you already know so much. But it's just like, I'm just normal like everybody else. And that's like kind of how I just need you to talk to me. And that's what he does. And Chris Pratt kind of, I want to say, with him as Quill, he just kind of personifies that. I want to say, like, the guy who's just like, you know what? All I can see is this woman that I want. And all I can see is I need to do something, whatever it is, to get my way into, onto her radar, so to speak. It's like, how can I go about it? And it's like he's not going to take no for an answer. So if that means he's going to do like the dorkiest stuff to try to impress her, he's going to do it and not apologize for it. I mean, he'll do stuff like this and Drax will just clown him every single time. But he doesn't give up because he sees her for who she is and is just hell bent on being in her life and being that genuine person. Because like you say, with her whole history with Thanos and all of that, it's like that's where dad is and just the crazy stuff.
Did you know about the dad?
Yeah,
you never mentioned anything about your father.
Families are complicated, But I just like that. And I like that that romantic interaction because it's like he's not apologizing for who he is. He's not apologizing that there is this woman that I want to impress because there used to be that art of wooing women, which is why Bridgerton is so freaking popular.
Yes.
It's the same thing. It's not about making a fool of yourself. It's about outsmarting everyone else who's trying to get her attention, as well. So this was just like one of my favorite couples in the MCU, which is man, another reason why Endgame, I was just like, I need somebody to carry me to my car because I'm been crying so much and I can't do it. On my own. Yeah. It was pretty hard to work. But I love him in this movie. He's just every guy.
I think that he does still have that guy next door feel in it, which is amazing when you think about who Star-Lord is. He's so incredibly down to earth. This is something that is still very surprising. And I guess you can be Star-Lord and be down to earth. I guess it's possible to be that character and be down to earth as long as Chris Pratt plays the role.
Yeah, because he can do that switch between, okay, I'll put the mask on, I'll put the mask on and I'm Star-Lord, doing all the things like, hey, good morning. You see me doing this? You see me doing this? You see me doing this? Which incidentally, now you can buy this mask at Disney World now.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah, I was just there on the 27th when the Guardians of the Galaxy ride open.
Right.
Literally the day the ride opened,
Wow.
they dropped a bunch of MCU merch. I have a video on the live stream that I did, and I went through there, and it's on my lifestyle channel too, actually. Over
I
on
believe
YouTube.
I watched that stream.
And we went in and looked at the stuff. They had Loki's scepter, they had the Tesseract, they had the ether. But they also had Star-Lord's face mask with the sound effects and everything. It wasn't very prominently put out there. It was kind of over the side with the Guardians of the Galaxy thing.
Well, it sounds really cool. I'm sure a lot of people would definitely want to pick that up.
Yeah.
And of course, the Star-Lord character is coming back, Lorena, in Thor: Love and Thunder, correct?
Yes, absolutely. Yes. In Thor: Love and Thunder. So that's gonna be Interesting.
It is interesting because it seems like Thor and Star-Lord might be two of the most down-to-earth, characters of that realm that we've seen, maybe ever. They seem approachable. They seem likable. Like you could have a conversation with them and it doesn't feel weird. You wouldn't feel like you didn't know what to say. Imagine trying to speak to Loki or to some of the other characters. You might be a little reluctant to even say anything, but
Mhm.
Thor seems like you could speak to him, and Star-Lord seems like you could speak to him, no problem.
Thor will stop to take a selfie with you. Star-Lord will be like, "What music do you like to listen to? Hey, have you ever heard of a song called Footloose?"
That's right. That's right.
Totally, I would get that. And I think that's what makes them so likable, is that there is this down to earth quality. I mean, we haven't featured Chris Hemsworth yet, but they're both, those types of
Oh, but we will.
guys.
Mhm.
Yes. Oh yes, we shall. Oh man, I love this article. It's like this outfit. It's like, is that something you put together at home? It has a Rocketeer look to it. A
It
little.
does. It's a classic. It looks good on him. Overall, it just really complements his physique. And he does have a fantastic physique, Lorena.
Oh, he definitely does. He absolutely does.
Yeah.
Absolutely does. So let's see here. We're gonna go over here some more and see what else. Oh, okay, another one.
I loved him in this. And this is the film that a Howard lady was in it with him as well.
Bryce Dallas Howard, yes.
And it's also the one that I kind of smile about because they made her run around in heels. But that's another part of the film. He has incredible chemistry with so many of these leading ladies. And to be honest with you, in this story, Howard plays, she's like the aunt in the story. And there are her, I guess 2 nephews. I can't remember if it was 2 boys or 2 girls or what the story was, but he has this adventurous way about him that's perfect for Jurassic films.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely perfect. I want to say he is like, in a way, kind of like Ian Malcolm, like Dr. Ian Malcolm, like the
Yes.
the pragmatist,
Yes.
where they're just like, this guy, he's got, you see him and he is training raptors, not little dinosaurs that don't bother anybody, not, even like a brontosaurus or, a triceratops. These are raptors, intelligent raptors who hunt in packs. The most feared. I mean, we thought the T-Rex was something to be feared, but in the original Jurassic Park movie, you found out that it was the velociraptors that you had to fear the most. And you see this guy who, for some reason, is able to control them, because I believe one of the opening lines in Jurassic World was said they were looking at the raptors, were like, well, who's the alpha? And Chris Pratt, well, Owen, he's like, I am.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, oh my God, are you serious? The guy can control raptors. And he's just so down to earth and tell them, look, these are dangerous animals and you need to respect that. Kind of like when Ian Malcolm in the first movie is saying, you were so obsessed with what you could do it, that you didn't stop to think whether or not you should do it,
Right. And another thing too was that he used a lot of, like when he makes a film like this where he has to play somebody who is like a researcher or a scientist, he does not try to assert his authority over anybody. He's doing this incredibly important project, but he's not there to push people around or pretend like he has to command everybody. That's not why he's even doing any of this research. Hey, BK Panther. Hey. He's doing it because he loves it. And, I think that that comes across too, versus somebody who's just in it for financial gain or, for a reputation. That's not important to the
Mhm.
character that he played. And often he plays a character that's like that. They're not really concerned about, being the most popular person. There are other qualities and other things that are important to him. And that
Mhm.
also is very attractive.
Absolutely. The another scene that I thought was so, I can't believe, I was like, oh my gosh, it's so touching, was when after Blue was hatched
Yes.
and he had like, I think like padding on his arm and he was like pretending that he was hurt. And then Blue came over and kind of like tapping him, like, are you okay? Are you okay? And he's just like noticing how she's actually shows empathy. And it's just like, that just was touching.
It
just
was.
to, just to see that, how he did that, how he interacted, actually studying them, because that's what they went back and saw. They're like, how is he controlling them? And it's not necessarily control, it's that they're imprinted, where he's imprinted on them, where they actually respect him, and he comes from that part of, respecting it. But if you're telling him that, this is above his pay grade, it's like, all right, call me when you start screaming, when everyone starts screaming. And that's pretty much what it is when Bryce Dallas Howard's character, Claire, she can't find her nephews. And when he's just like, I'll go and get them, I'm like, oh God, yes, it's gonna be good.
And he will. And he did, right? It's the promise that is always going to be kept with him that is also very good.
Exactly. And that's yet another toxic male trait right
Yes.
there. The
Yes,
the
it
the
is.
the protector. It's like, I'm gonna go and I'm gonna get them, and I'm gonna go and rescue these kids, and I'm gonna protect all of you. You know, I think some people really downplay how that particular piece of the movie is so appealing to so many people.
Yeah, I would want someone to come and get me.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Especially if it's Chris Pratt. Come and get me. Yeah,
Yeah.
like this scene
Yes.
here.
That's a perfect example.
Absolutely. Yeah.
And
God, I love
Bryce
this
Dallas
movie.
Howard, she actually looks very fit there. She's like she could do anything, but she definitely needs his help. There's no doubt about it.
And it's funny because she was kind of acting like, I don't need you, you just train, you stand down there and you train those raptors. That's all I frippin' care about. I don't tell me that I don't know, what I'm doing and all of that. But once her nephews were in danger, she knew exactly who to go and get. And it was like, okay, whatever you need, just go and save my nephews. That's just what I want you to do.
Now, I don't know if she's wearing heels there, which I imagine she is because they forced her to wear those heels, which is something I'm never going to forget about this film.
Oh, I remember
Um,
that too. Yeah.
and I'm like, someone must have like been angry at her or something, making her wear those. But and for such a good portion of the film, like I can understand if she was wearing them, that she threw them off and found some flip flops somewhere. But he's 6'2". And in this scene, she looks kind of tall. Like she looks, pretty tall. Maybe she is naturally tall anyway. But
I forget
yeah,
how
he was.
tall she is.
Yeah, I don't know how tall she is, but he's big. He's a tall gentleman.
Hmm.
So although it may not appear to be the case in this shot, that's what I was really trying to allude to.
Yeah, I think I want to say she's about 5. I want to say she's about 5'8", 5'9". I know she's
Yes, so that's tall.
relatively tall.
Yeah.
In heels, I don't think she was still as tall as he was.
Mhm.
I love this picture.
Yeah,
I
it is
love this shot.
fantastic.
I
It's
cannot,
fantastic.
I can freaking cannot wait for Jurassic World to come out. Did I click the wrong one? I did. This one's always
See, that was the film where they were on those unusual. I'm assuming it's computer generated, but it was like these unusual rolling mechanisms that they had to ride down the side of this
Oh
mountain.
yeah, the bubble
Yeah, I thought that was
cycle.
amazing. I really liked
Yeah,
that. I was like, this is fun. They picked a bunch of things in there that were very, very interesting.
they
Um,
did.
yeah,
They
yeah.
did. I know. I did not like Fallen Kingdom, but it had more to do with the director and how just the movie was. The movie was not all that great. Like the worst one of the series. Chris Pratt's performance was awesome. It was awesome, but it was just like I kind of felt like he was wasted in that. And also Colin Trevorrow, who directed the first one, Jurassic World, he was supposed to direct the second one, Fallen Kingdom, but he got kicked off of that one. But he's back for Dominion. So I'm excited about seeing what's going to happen in Dominion because they've got everybody back together,
Oh,
including
wow.
the original folks from the first Jurassic Park.
Really?
Yes, they got everybody back together. That's why when it was announced, it was such a big thing because they've got, all of them back together. Laura Dern, um, why am I blanking on the
Jeff
actor?
Goldblum?
Jeff Goldblum and oh my gosh.
I can't remember that guy's
I'm
name.
blanking on his name. I'm blanking on his
Yeah,
name.
I
It's
know
a
we're
darn
thinking of
shame.
the same guy. I know it.
Yeah, same guy. And I know it's
He's an
the name.
Australian guy, right? Or
Is he?
isn't he?
He might be. I'm gonna find out right now. Here we go. Jurassic World Dominion. Let's open this up here.
Yeah, let's take a look at it.
It's almost. I want to say it's almost like what Star Wars did not get to
Yes.
do. They got everyone
Mhm.
back together. Let's see, because they've
Let's see. His
got
name is he's from Australia.
Dern,
His name is
Sam Neill.
Sam Neill. Yeah, Sam Neill. Yeah, you didn't. He's from Australia or New Zealand or something like that.
Really?
Yeah, really. Yeah,
I would not have known that
yeah, yeah. He is.
at all.
Hmm.
But yes, you got Dr. Malcolm, Dr. Grant, Dr. Sadler, all three of
Hmm.
them back together in the same movie.
Wow.
I cannot freaking, I can't wait for this. There's so much signage that's in Universal Orlando for
Oh, really?
Jurassic Dominion.
And when does it come out exactly, Lorena?
It comes out uh, June 10th.
So it's going to be a summer blockbuster this next weekend or something like that.
Hmm. It's going to
Nice.
be, it's going to be huge. It's going to be huge. If it's an IMAX, I'm gonna go freaking see it in IMAX because there's just something about being in there in that big screen and you have all these dinosaurs going around. It's just awesome. It's so much fun. Let's
It
see.
sounds amazing. I can't wait to see that. That's going to be something we definitely have to talk about.
Oh God, yeah. Let's see. He was in Gem and the Holograms. I didn't watch that.
I didn't watch it either. I was a Gem fan in the 80s, but I saw part of this film and I was like, I can't watch this.
It was just off. DK Greek 94 says, "Hey,
Hi.
Lorraine, yeah, and didn't know that you both were live. Oh, yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
we're live. I had to push it out to Twitter. I got so involved work wise, I forgot to I forgot to schedule like the 3 hour ahead of time tweet. But glad you're here with us. Sure to appreciate it, my dear.
Absolutely.
Let's see. Magnificent Seven. I didn't see that.
I haven't seen it either.
I'm kind of leery of remakes because when I hear that it's a remake, it's like, okay, I want to go watch the original first, which I've heard the original is like classic. So that's
Oh,
something I
yeah.
want to see. So I'm probably not going to go back to. I'll have to watch the original one before I watch that one. And let's see. Of course, Infinity War. Saw that. Saw that indeed. Yes, he was in
Hmm.
Infinity War. Um, let's see, Lego 2 movie, the second part. I don't think I saw that one.
Well, Lorena, did you ever see Passengers?
No. Nah.
Yeah, he made it with I think it's in 2014 or 2016.
Mm-hmm.
And in the film, Passengers was a script. I was speaking to a director who told me that the script for Passengers was a script that had been rotating around Hollywood for a while, and none of the studios could seem to get it made. Now, I don't know what the holdup was,
Mm-hmm.
but they just couldn't make the film. And finally, they got the go-ahead with Chris Pratt. And I can't remember the girl's name. She's the one who played in what is it called? It's not Twilight, but it's The Hunger Games.
Mm-hmm.
And if you pan down, you're going to see where they show you Passengers.
Mm-hmm.
What happens in that story in Passengers is that it's about a group of people who, in the future, in let's say maybe a couple hundred years in the future,
Mm-hmm.
they show you people on Earth, like it's too crowded. And a bunch of people are offered to go off world to a new world that's maybe about, I don't know, 100 years by light speed from Earth.
Oh. Uh-huh.
And so he plays a guy who is one of the passengers out of a crew of, I don't know, maybe 6,000.
Mm-hmm.
And while he's in hypersleep, he suddenly wakes up while he's in supposed to be asleep for like 100 years or so. So he wakes up early and he's on the ship, and it turns out he's an engineer. And while he's there, he sees all the other passengers in stasis, but he comes across of course Jennifer Lawrence, who's a passenger as well, and he breaks into her pod and wakes her up too. Now, he tells her like it's a malfunction. He tells her it's a pod malfunction. And she finds out later on that he did it on purpose. So before they could, yeah. And I was like, interesting. So before, he's capable of opening up the pods because he's an engineer. And, well, you understand engineering. So
yes,
engineers can do stuff that ordinary people can't do. It's like, I need you to do this. They're like, okay. They can work it out and find a solution to a problem. As my friend who's an engineer always says, it's a solution to a problem. And so his problem was that he was alone on the ship. He wanted a companion. So he wakes her up. And, eventually she finds out what he's done. She's very upset by this, Lorena.
Mm-hmm.
But before anything else can happen, another passenger wakes up on the ship, and then they realize there's a problem. There's a problem with the ship. Mm-hmm. And the rest of the film is sort of like this exciting thing of trying to figure out what's going on and why this is happening. So it is, I was going to say, it's not exactly a romantic comedy, but if it had to be, it is a romance that's going on. So it's a romance between Chris Pratt and Jennifer Lawrence. Yes. And it is really nice. Like, it's all those fun things. They go out on dates, it's just like, it's just so much fun, this film. And, the director who I was speaking to, whose name I can't remember, is a friend of Robert Meyer Burnett's, had said, what did you think about her choosing not to go back to sleep and staying with this guy? And I said, well, look at it from this point of view. If she goes back to sleep and she wakes up 100 years from now, he's gone, and she'll be going to these other people that she doesn't know anything about. She doesn't know these new people on the new planet. She may not find anybody like him, right? She may not find, she likes this guy. They get along. And it's like 90% of the issue is just getting along with the person, right? So I'm like, he's a catch. He's cute. He's fun. And he can build stuff. Like, if she wants something and it's not on the ship, you can say, hey, I really wish I could have a gazebo, and he would go, I can make that, like, anybody who can do that. I'm like, what more would you want? This guy's
that is so hot. I mean, you can build stuff. with your hands. That is really
Yes. I was
hot.
gonna say if you could play the trailer without the sound, maybe, and just kind of take a look
Let
and
me
see, just
see.
get a grab a short glimpse
Let
of
me mute.
what goes on, and
Oh
he's
my
kind of
gosh, he's playing with he got a robot. He's got a robot. Okay, yeah, that's an engineering thing. We love
yeah, and it is very
robots.
like it's a high tech,
Did it like deliver something to her?
yeah. Like there's a lot of playfulness. There's a lot of, to live in
Oh,
that world they
dinner
live in.
tonight. That's cute.
Yeah.
I really like that. That is really cute.
But he doesn't play up on his looks. Like he's very attractive, but he's not like I'm God's greatest thing. He's not like
Mhm,
that. But,
mhm.
he is, I think he knows. The funny thing about it is that I think to do what he did in this film, like it took a lot of guts to do this. And I think that not a lot of people would have gotten away with it, but he got away with it because, it was kind of like he thought about it for a while. He says, screw this. You only live once. I might as well wake her up. And,
Mhm.
technically speaking, once you wake the person up, they can't go back to sleep. So there was that dilemma of him doing that and knowing what the consequences were, but he took the
Mhm.
chance anyway. I mean, I think that was something that was really funny because the other guy who wakes up, he kind of makes a sly remark saying like, I was wondering why you were so lucky to have this chick wake up. You know what I mean?
I hear you, BK Panther. Yeah, but trust if a big deal. And he started off on the wrong foot by deceiving her. You know what? That's a good point, and that's also the plot for a lot of different romantic comedies, especially trying to freaking remember which one it was.
Well,
Where
there are
the
a
guy
lot of
pretends
ones.
that he's rich and it turns out, that he's not, or that he's rich, but he's pretending that he's not rich because he doesn't want someone to want them for their money. And once the object of their affection actually finds out that they're not like this, common guy, that there's some rich dude, it's just like, well, why did you lie to me? And there's no way that I could possibly ever fit in, with your life. So yeah, and usually really good um romantic comedies that start out with that kind of deception thing, there's usually some kind of consequence that's built into there. So that's a good point.
Absolutely. And the other one I would add to that is, they make a bet that they can't get this girl by, graduation or something. And
Thank you, DK Greek. Yes, coming to America. Thank you. Yes.
yes, exactly. So if you like films like that, and I like to see him in these kind of romancy things, and I think that you can't have him in a film where he isn't having a romance with somebody because he does kind of exude a little bit of romance or playfulness that, while he's not overly, his main thoughts about what he wants to do, there has to be some kind of romance associated with it. And that's what the thing was so eerily, unusually weird, Lorena,
Mhm.
when it came to Thor: Love and Thunder, because and I probably have spoken to you about this a few times, is the idea of, well, if once you put the word love in the title of
Mhm.
a film, there has to be some, like, don't do that to me. Don't put that in there, making me think there's going to be love and
Mhm.
there isn't love. Like, there needs to be love in it if you're putting love in the title. So I need to see some love. And that whole thing where Thor's kind of like smiling at Chris Pratt
Yeah,
was,
I'm trying to find that picture. I'm kind of PO'd it's not in here. It's not coming up. Let's
but it
see.
was like, he does this thing where he's smiling.
And he
You
leans
remember,
into
right?
the picture. I remember that. That was hilarious.
And I thought to myself,
I'm
like,
not liking this hair. I'm not liking
that makes him look too
it.
1970s Vegas-y.
Yeah, it's just I almost didn't know who that was.
Yeah, that's not the right look. And
No.
you mentioned that, Lorena. You mentioned that on Toxic Femmes, how the sideburns were wrong. and how it gave a different look. Of course, it gives a different look, but there better be love in this, Lorena. And I don't mean brotherly love either. I want to see real passion and just beauty, and I want to see flowers blooming and whatever you want to call it. I want to see all that good stuff. Um,
I hope so. I really do.
I mean, his name is Star Lord, but they might as well call him Star Lover, right? He's got all the right moves and the right feelings, and he wants to enjoy life. He wants to embrace these great moments. How could you not like him with that kind of an attitude?
I
Uh,
love it because
yeah,
he just does not give up. No matter how many times Gamora looks at him like, "What is wrong with you?"
now
And he's
I'm so glad you mentioned that, Lorena, because and I know Gamora looks like relatively the same age as him, but she may not be. I mean, I don't know much about her, but she might have a few years on him, and I don't mean just one or two. So I
that's
think
a
there's
good
another
point.
element where he's kind of looking at her as, a girl just down the block, and I'm like, wait a minute, she's
She could
not.
be 500 years old and you don't know. That's a good point.
Yeah, she's
That's
not
a
your girlfriend down the block. She's a very special lady. And
Mhm.
I think eventually one of these days, maybe 5 or 6 years from now, he'll understand.
Like, wow, I did not know that she was that old.
Yeah.
There's actually going to be a Guardians of the Galaxy holiday special.
Okay. Okay.
I'm scarily interested in this, honestly. I really am. I keep forgetting Vin Diesel's Groot's voice. But yeah, he's supposed to be in it. So that's actually coming to Disney Plus. So that should be funny.
I'm gonna watch it. We're all gonna watch it.
Heck yeah, I'm gonna watch it. We're gonna watch that sucker together. That's Guardians of the Galaxy is it is definitely one of my guilty pleasures. But another thing that we're gonna come up to is some other things that
Yes.
Chris Pratt has coming out, because like Alan Richardson, like Jason Momoa, I'm telling you, he is one busy person. Now this one I was extremely happy to find out about, the Super Mario Brothers movie that they're making, and he is going to be the voice of Mario. Oh, also speaking of voices, he was also in the Pixar movie Onward, which
Oh,
one of the reasons that I loved that Pixar movie, Onward, it went direct to Disney Plus right at the height of like the Wu-Tang flu. That Pixar film had such a positive depiction of fathers and the strength of the relationship
oh,
um, between fathers and sons. Because how it is, Onward is basically, it's like this, I'm going to call it pretty much like if, say, like a fantasy RPG came to life. So it's like this mythical place. And something had happened where his father had like
right,
disappeared,
right.
and they conjured a spell to get him back.
To
But
the
when
left.
they did, he was only like from the bottom down, and they only had one day to try to restore him back. And the youngest son didn't remember his father because he was a baby, and his older brother, who is voiced by Chris Pratt, is kind of like the one who's like, "Hey, I'm watching over you," and all of that stuff. And I'm not going to give away the end of the movie because it was so touching. I would hate it if somebody spoiled it for me. But just the way that he is as the older brother, it was just something that was really touching, positive about the bond between brothers, positive also about how they relate to their mother, you know, as well, sympathizing with the fact that, she misses her husband, that, even though she's out working, they're still trying to do stuff to kind of take care of her. So that's another positive film with positive depiction of men, those toxic qualities like, you know, protection and, providing, and it's a fun movie. It's a
It
really fun
sounds like a lot of fun, and I do remember hearing the advertisements for this and then seeing the father's, like, lower torso
Uh-huh.
material, and it's like, "Oh, no, that's not good."
But you gotta see the van that he drives. That's all I'm gonna say. You have to see the van. Literally, this is like Star-Lord as, you know, this mythical creature right here.
Oh.
And his facial expression kind of looks like Chris Pratt when he's got that smirk on his face. So that's another good one. But yeah, I was thinking about that when they talked about he was going to be in Super Mario. It's like, what the heck? It's going to be flipping awesome. Of course, you see in the back where they have the Tomorrow War,
Yes.
which was another amazing. It was like a sleeper, I would say, in a way, because that came out on Amazon, I believe. Was it Amazon? Was it Amazon? Yeah, it was on
Yes.
Amazon Prime Video, and no one really knew what it was.
Yeah, and it's very interesting because this would have been, and of course it was during that difficult time
Hmm.
last year. I think that, this could have been, a big Hollywood film, honestly. And it was fun. He was great in this. And this was somewhat of a scary future that the film talked about. And, I thought it was a fun and exciting story, but also scary.
Very scary, especially when it came to his family
Yes.
and what happened and what he was willing to do to protect his family. So again, another positive depiction of men. I know it was kind of scary because I was like, okay, what is this movie about? And everything that I heard back was just like, you're really gonna like it. Like, it's a popcorn movie. It's like, it's not a masterpiece, but it's definitely a good watch to sit through. So yeah, I'm so excited about this. This is supposed to come out, I believe, in December. It's timed perfectly because the movie comes out in December. Super Nintendo World in Universal Studios Hollywood is supposed to open early 2023.
Yeah, not a surprise of the film and then the opening after that.
Hmm.
And Super Mario is a game that from its inception has been incredibly popular, has not gone away for the past, what is it, 30 years now?
Yeah,
It
long
has,
time.
and it's had many iterations either on major consoles or handhelds. Regardless, it's been incredibly popular. One of the first video games I ever played, along with The Legend of Zelda, on my Nintendo 64. So, and that was in the 90s. So that's how long Mario Brothers has been around. And of course, we all know the story of how it is, but they've kept it alive, and it's a fun game to play. And this is going to be very interesting. I wonder what the movie's going to be like. But that's a big win for Chris Pratt, for sure. That he gets to voice the main character in the story. I'm curious as to what the story is going to be, but it's going to be fantastic. It's going to be fantastic.
It's gonna be fun. It's just, it can't help but be fun because of just how iconic of a game Super Mario Brothers is. Whenever you talk about Nintendo 64 games, I call it like the OG games. You got like the Super Mario Brothers side scroller, and how many jokes, how many, memes, how many times has Super Mario Brothers been incorporated, in movies, and all of that. And also, Nintendo has higher brand recognition around the world than Disney.
Yes, it
That's
does.
That's the
Yes, it
other
does.
thing. So this is a huge, an absolutely huge huge deal, because you'll have kids who will go and see this and like, oh, it's Super Mario Brothers on the Switch. It's like, no, we've been playing it for a lot longer than that.
That is true. Since the 90s, people, since the 90s.
Hmm.
Yeah, there it says 36 years ago. Oh my gosh. Yep. That one.
Was it 36? Wow.
That's what it says. I remember it was in the 90s when and that wasn't even, that probably wasn't the first iteration of Super Mario Brothers, of
Yeah.
let's say that game.
Mhm.
It probably might have been the second one
Second.
on the Nintendo 64. So
For you kids who don't know what a Nintendo 64 is, it wasn't a little tiny chip of a game you put in your Switch. It was a cartridge this big, and sometimes you had to blow into it to get dust out if the
mhm,
game started screwing up.
mhm. Yep,
Oh, man.
1996 in Japan and
96.
September 29th, 1996 in North America. That's the Nintendo 64. That looks a little different.
This is
Try-
this is gonna be the movie to see in December. Absolutely. I cannot wait. Speaking of other animated movies, because this is actually, I can't believe this news got by me. I mean, I knew that Chris Pratt was going to be in the Garfield movie, but I did not know Samuel L. Jackson was going to be in it too.
Yeah, I didn't know either. And, I think it's very interesting to see this for him to be going to be in the animated Garfield film. Yeah, that's going to be a fun film too. And it's long overdue for Garfield. I
Yeah.
don't think there's ever been one. Is this the first Garfield that they're making, Lorena?
No, there's actually been, I'm embarrassed to admit it, but the kind of stuff that my nieces and nephews make me watch. Now, granted, I was a fan of the Garfield cartoon and the Garfield comics. There were two, at least that I remember, two Garfield movies that were made because Bill Murray did the voice of Garfield. So there was one where he was in the US, and I think another one where he switched places with like some pampered royal cat in Britain or something like that. So they did it then, but now they're going to reboot it again. So I'm not it's going to be a challenge, because when I hear animated Garfield, I think Bill Murray.
Yeah.
And in this particular version of Garfield, you're actually going to meet Garfield's father. So Samuel L. Jackson is playing Garfield's father. We've never seen Garfield's father. We've seen Garfield's grandfather in the comics, but we've never seen his dad. So this is an interesting take. So he's a very good voice actor. So let's see if he can actually capture, spirit of that orange cat. That's just too that's just too much fun. So I don't know exactly. Oh, I'm sorry, go ahead.
No, I think I'm really interested to see what that's going to be like. I have no idea what that's going to be like. And BK Panther has a comment.
Yeah, the game cartridges we used in the past were almost as big as the cell phones we use today. I know, right?
Yeah. Yes, they are almost as big.
Oh,
That is
like
very
the
true.
Switch. I'm like, really? Oh, okay. All right. Wow. Something else. So yeah, this is gonna be pretty cool. It doesn't say when it's coming out. I just want to know who's going to play Odie. I need to find out who's going to be Odie eventually, because that's just going to be too much fun. So let's see, another thing that Chris Pratt is going to be in, and we touched on this a little bit last week. He is going to be in the Amazon series The Terminal List.
Yeah, and I'm super excited for this, Lorena. I love any kind of military style film about
Likewise.
people men in uniform. There, I said it. And one of my favorite TV shows on TV is called SEAL Team. It's the one with uh, what's that guy's name from Buffy the Vampire Slayer?
Oh God, David
Yes,
Boreanaz. Yeah.
yes,
Hmm.
and he plays a SEAL team leader. And this particular series looks amazing. On Real Spec Ops and this SEAL series, the Terminal List. This is going to be amazing, Lorena. I think that this is going to be unbelievable. And you got this off of military.com. What does it
Yes.
say about the series, Lorena? As you
So
can.
I have to give a hat tip to Andrew Wilkow, the Wilkow Majority. He's got a show on Sirius Patriot that I've listened to for a long time since he started. We actually follow each other on Twitter, and he had actually had Jack Carr on his show where he was talking about this. So apparently, so let's see. Chris Pratt is the tortured hero James Reese. And just to kind of go up here a little bit, Jack Carr, who I was talking about, not only is he the executive producer of this series, but he is also a former Navy SEAL.
Oh,
So
wow.
I had the pleasure of listening to him on Andrew Wilkow's show. And he says, you see some military, movies, they don't really get stuff right. There's some movies that do, like Black Hawk Down is one of them that does. And he said it was really important to him that this be authentic. And he had nothing but praise for Chris Pratt. He was just like, he took it seriously. The same way that oh my gosh, not done. Mark Wahlberg took his role seriously in the
Was
movie where
that
he
a
was in
sniper?
Afghanistan. Not American Sniper. It was another one. It was another one. It was about a mission in Afghanistan where he was the only one that was left. And I'm drawing a blank, and
I'm
this is
I'm
really
looking
pissing
for it.
me
It's
off.
called let's see. It's not The Fighter.
It was a movie about one of the oh, Lone Survivor. Oh my gosh.
Oh,
Yes, because it was Marcus Luttrell's story, because Marcus Luttrell was also being interviewed by Andrew Wilkow at one time, and that was his story. And Mark Wahlberg played Marcus Luttrell, and Marcus Luttrell was talking about just how Mark Wahlberg took it seriously, and he was telling people, Mark Wahlberg was just like, "You think you have it easy?" He said, "You think you have it hard?" He's like, "No, I've worked with servicemen and women who have to work hard." And Mark had actually told, and I think somebody quoted him in an article, he would say anytime he didn't feel like going on set to film these scenes, he's like, there's guys who they do this 24/7. They don't get a break. They can't say I'm going to go to my trailer and not, deal with it for a while. They have to deal with it for a while. So Chris Pratt had the same dedication to it and seriously impressed, Jack Carr, and he's a freaking former Navy SEAL.
wow. I mean, the other film I thought you might have been talking about was Shooter, which is another one that I know Mark Wahlberg did, which was
Yes, Shooter was the other one. He was good in Shooter. He was good
yeah.
in Shooter too, but it was yeah, it's interesting when you hear these, military heroes when they talk about their story and their life, and they have nothing but praise for the actor who was just like, look, um just tell me what I need to do so I can accurately reflect you.
Now, Lorena, is this going to be a movie or is it a TV series?
This is going to be a series
Yes.
from what I remember.
Yes.
I believe it's so I think it's 8 episodes if I
Oh,
remember
wow.
correctly. Let me double check here. I
No, that's
believe
incredible. Can we watch some of the teaser trailer?
Let me see. Let me bring it up here. We sure can't. Oh, you know what? Man, I swear I'm blind. Like I have it on the other screen. Hello, Shield Ball of Dragons. So good to see you
Hello.
here. Good to see you here. Oh, and BK Panther confirmed yes, it was David Boreanaz.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you. Okay, I'm gonna EFAP this because I do not want to to get claimed. But again, this is the terminal list. It is produced by Jack Carr, who is a former Navy SEAL. So no, that stuff's gonna be it's gonna be accurate. So this is the official teaser.
That looks good so far.
Yes, I know it looks it has a Tom Clancy feel to it. That's what's grabbing me here.
Almost ready to begin, James.
Copy.
That's like insane. So it looks like he's in there getting an MRI. I don't know if it's for like a traumatic brain injury, which from what I understand, a lot of guys who I know got injuries from stepping on an IED. Some of them had like a traumatic brain injury. So it looks like they're scanning his brain, but at the same time, he's dealing with PTSD from an incident like this. And you see how many of them are just like killed. Just crazy.
What happened?
They're all gone.
Just asking like what happened. So I guess he's reliving what happened.
And you can see unfortunately, what looks like, coffins in this trailer.
Here, I'm gonna actually mute. So yeah, so you see the coffins in the trailer, and I think we talked about this last week.
We did, yeah.
This scene here, it's not one, it's not two.
No.
I want to say it looks like probably at least 12.
Yeah.
Where you look and it's just like what it's like what happened. So it looks like here, not only does he see his comrades who fell, but he is the one receiving all of the bodies when they're flown back, when they bring them off the carrier, and is probably wondering, how could something like this happen? So it looks like they're okay. Let me blink for a little bit. Yeah, so this looks like this is satellite footage that they're probably reviewing, because you've seen this kind of thing in movies like let me blow this up. In movies like Zero Dark 30.
In Jack Ryan, there was a scene where they reviewed the footage, and he's actually in the room as they're reviewing it. It's footage of him almost getting killed.
Mm-hmm.
And the people who are watching it watch stuff like this all day, but it's still very shocking, like to see him struggling for his life, and he just gets out, somehow he manages to struggle and get, stay alive.
Mm-hmm. And I think this is the other scenes that we were talking about. Like, see, he's there with his family. You see him with his family. And Constance Wu, if you've ever seen Fresh Off the Boat, she's hilarious. So I believe she's a reporter investigating
Right.
what's going on, because there's some kind of cover up and no one's talking.
Oh, okay. So there's more to the story than what we're seeing.
Yes, it's not like it was one person, not like two persons, but his whole unit got wiped out. And it wasn't like it was a how would you put it? This is an elite special forces unit. You don't just wipe out an elite special forces unit and no one talk about it, or they're covering it up like Don't worry about it. Don't go digging. But obviously, he's just like, I can't forget something. Like, I need to find out what happened to my brothers in arms, because that scene previously, before, where he's in the brass's office, that's where they tells him, don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. Let it lie.
Yeah, this looks so interesting, Lorena. I can't wait to see this.
This looks, it's like with Reacher, it's a mystery, but even more so, it's a mystery, but with like a real life connection,
Mhm.
in a way.
Well, it looks like
Wow.
he's really struggling with this.
Very. Just the way he looks is just like, I have to know what happened. And he's like, am I losing my mind? I don't know. They're trying to find out what happened to his unit. He's not getting any answers. And he's got survivor's guilt because he's the only one that's left. And I
Yeah, that's
believe
got to be
oh,
so
sorry, go
hard
ahead.
to be the only person to survive something like that.
Hmm. And I believe he's the commanding officer. So imagine there's all these families that he has to go back and tell them what happened. But if they're not letting him know what happened, because if I remember correctly, last time we looked at this trailer, he can't remember, which makes it
Right.
even worse.
Yeah, that's it just looks very, and I remember you talking about that pounding of the I guess it's the pin.
Yeah, that's the trident that they get when they officially become Navy SEALs. You get the trident here as a SEAL. And when one of your buddies falls, usually at these funerals, they will actually do this. Because that is like what everything that they had to do to get that trident. It's none of it's easy. As a matter of fact, Chris Kyle said during Navy SEAL training that it was so intense, and they were out like in SEAL Beach, and the weather was like it was so cold, and they were like shivering. He said it was so cold. I was hoping somebody would piss on me so I could get warm.
Oh my
That's
god.
exactly what he said. I'm just like, did I
Oh my
read that
gosh.
correctly? He said, yeah, they were
Oh my gosh.
absolutely, freezing, but it's like it's a mental thing with all that. When your body's trying to tell you, it needs to shut down, but you have to keep going. He's like, it's that kind of challenge that they had to go through. And so many people wash out of it. I think it's called buds.
Yes.
I think that's what it is. Yeah. And it's got a crazy high, like washout rate. Again, read American Sniper too. That will, yeah, that's
Oh my gosh, like
crazy.
from the guitar to the gun, that was like another.
Another cool shot, how they put that together. Yeah.
Yeah.
Just kind of like those flashbacks, like what is this reminding me of? And you see now they're up to 3. But you do notice here's the thing. And I just noticed this. Let me see. Let me go back. Hopefully I can. Something that just hit me. Okay. Usually at Navy SEAL funerals, when your buddy falls, each person from that unit individually goes up and does this. Do you notice he is the only one who's doing this?
Yes.
That literally just hit me. He is the one, as he is the only one that's left. Oh, I guess they're getting kitted up there. He is the only one.
Wow.
Look at that. He is the only one doing that.
That's a lot of
Only one left.
pins. That's a lot of pins.
So So it begs the question, how can you lose a whole special forces unit? And I think it has something to do with this title called the Terminal List.
Hmm. It looks so good, Lorena. This
I,
looks so good.
I cannot wait to see this. I love the fact that it's coming out over the 4th of July weekend.
Are
So
they going to let us see all the episodes, or do we have to wait per episode?
I think they're going to drop it all. I think they're going to drop it all just like they did
With
with
Reacher.
Reacher. And
Well, you
it's
know what?
just,
I'm going to make a prediction, Lorena, that this is going to be number one streaming on July 1st for Amazon, just like Reacher was number one in January.
I agree. Especially given how the military friendly press and talk shows are getting Jack Carr on their shows. Just this is going to yeah, I'll have a prediction. That weekend for July 4th, people are either going to go see Top Gun Maverick, go see that, then come home and then binge on this, because it's something that's sorely needed. Again, it's something that shows just what our military unfortunately can go through, because I don't know if this is a true story or not. I haven't heard. I think it's fiction. I believe it's fiction. Yeah, because it's based on a book. So I think it's fiction. Let me double check. Let's see.
Yeah. Let's see. What?
I don't want to tell you guys a wrong thing. It's like, oh my God, you told me it's a real thing. Let's see. Yeah, it is fiction. It's fiction. And actually number 11 on Amazon's chart. Let's see. It says Navy SEAL has nothing left to live for and everything to kill for after he discovers that the American government is behind the deaths of his team in this ripped from the headlines political thriller that is so powerful, so pulse pounding, so well written. Rarely do you read a debut novel this damn good. And that comment is from Brad Thor, who I do know, who follows me on Twitter. He is another author of military-based fiction. So I cannot recall the exact story, but this story does sound familiar.
Well, you know what also is interesting about this series is that Chris is starring with his, I guess, brother-in-law. I can't remember his name just now. In the story. Yeah, Patrick Schwarzenegger is also starring in it with him.
Really?
Yeah. Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Interesting. I wonder who is the production company for this.
Do we see his we
I'm
don't
making
see it.
everybody busy. Let's see. Antoine Fuqua directed one of these episodes. Okay. For folks who don't know, Antoine Fuqua is one of the best action movie directors out there. If you have ever seen a movie called Set It Off, which is about female bank robbers, the action in that, I think that was the first one that he did. The action is insane. And hello, Mikey Lito.
Hi,
Hello.
Lito.
Says
Thank
hello.
you so much.
Yes. Says hello, ladies. All episodes drop 30 June. Really?
Oh, interesting.
Even freaking better.
Yeah.
30 June. You know what? I am going to have all kinds of like pizza and snacks, and I'm just because we are actually going to do a a live watch party.
That's what I was thinking.
of this, because it's just, let's see, what do we have? 3, 6, looks like 7, maybe 7 episodes. either way, yeah, we're gonna be watching this
Yeah,
8 episodes. We're gonna be doing a live watch here
absolutely.
on Twitch. So pay attention to that. I'm so stoked. I can't wait to see which episode that Antoine Fuqua is directing. Holy crap. This is amazing. Absolutely, absolutely amazing. I wonder the reason why I'm trying to find out who the production company is. Okay, for a minute I thought it might be Skydance, even though
Yeah,
they
I
did
know.
Blvd.
I understand why you would think that.
Yeah, I thought it was Skydance, but let's see. Amazon Studios co-production, MRC Television Media Rights Capital. Okay. All right. I was just curious. Just curious, but oh man. So 30 June. 30 June
Wow.
is when it drops. Keep your ears open. If you follow me on Twitter, follow her, of course, over on YouTube. Both of us over there on YouTube.
Yes.
Check the community page. We'll be dropping information about when we will have a watch party for the terminal list because
Yes. And I have another
Mhm.
watch party request, Lorena, for passengers.
For passengers. All right. We'll have to put that on the schedule. We got a lot of watch
I
parties coming
know.
up.
I know.
It's so much fun.
Yeah.
It's fun having these watch parties where we get to interact with all of you and watch really, really cool stuff that we like, especially when Amazon has it and we can do the watch party
Yes.
on Twitch. All right. Well, folks, I think that's going to wrap it up for this episode. I hope you guys learned some more about Chris Pratt and the stuff that he's been
Yes.
in and why he is such a toxic male that we love to appreciate here on the show. Any parting thoughts before we wrap up?
Just, I'm so excited for this series, Lorena. I think that that's going to be something that I hope becomes more regular with Chris Pratt, as we did see, the film that he made last year in 2021, and that was a big hit. And I'm hoping that he'll continue with series like this on the streaming services as well, and perhaps we'll see a little bit more of Chris Pratt in the future.
Absolutely. It looks like he is going to be in a lot of things for quite some time. Well, folks, I think that is going to do it. Thank you so much for hanging out with us on this show, Toxic Male Appreciation, which we love celebrating all those supposedly toxic traits that are woefully lacking in we'll say not appreciated in the men of today. So this is a safe space for you guys, and we certainly hope that you enjoyed the show. So please do follow myself, follow her, also known as Positive Fandom, over here on Twitch. You can also follow us over there on YouTube, and we will see you next week. Bye.